Hey friends, it's Liz from Blue and Hazel and welcome back to my homeschool channel. Today's video I wanted to do an update for you on All About Spelling Level 1 and just how it's been going using it with my 4th grader. So if you are new to this channel, I have done previous All About Spelling reviews with my oldest, who is now in 5th grade. I started him on All About Spelling Level 1 when he was a 3rd grader. And I chose to wait one extra year for my second kiddo, who is now a 4th grader starting Level 1. And I have a few reasons I did that, which I'm really happy we started later. First of all, we're using more of a Charlotte Mason approach in our homeschooling now, and so it made sense for me to wait a little bit more until around 4th grade when we were adding in a reason to learn spelling for written narrations that she's doing. There's also just been a natural desire to spell more the older that she's gotten, with letter writing to friends, or creating signs and posters or little stories on her own. And so I've definitely seen her need for spelling come in this last probably year and a half, more so than in the earlier years. The other reason why I wanted to wait for her is because I just thought that this would be so much easier to begin spelling if it looked right, if she had an extra year of reading under her belt. And so she was not as advanced of a reader or an early reader as my oldest. And so him starting a year sooner than her made sense because he had just read so much. And now I'm finding that she is in 4th grade and her reading has really ramped up. And so these words and these spelling rules are just looking right on the page, which has made the whole program just a little bit easier for her than if I'd started her when she was a little weaker reader. Since we are homeschooling 3 kiddos with a 4th in tow, I just really didn't want to add extra busy work in the early years if I didn't need to, because I do feel like we can wait an extra year or two to start spelling and then just not work quite as hard in those earlier levels. And so it's a lot easier on mom. Prior to my daughter doing any spelling, we just did not focus too much on it. So if she wrote a letter to a friend, I would have her do her best to spell it as best as she could. Generally, if she asked me how to spell a word, I would just help her. So just be encouraged that, earlier is not always better. Sometimes, especially with spelling, it just makes sense to wait because it's a little less on your plate as a homeschool mom to wait. And then also by the time you start with an older kid, they just pick it up so fast that you don't have to stay in one area as long or practice as many reinforcement words because they just get it so much faster. So that's why we started later. As far as how it's been going for her, it has been so simple. And so I won't go ahead and go through this entire booklet. I have other videos. You're also welcome to watch my update of how level 1 went with my son. Just a little different perspective, a different kiddo. We are in week 8 of our school year, and she is almost finished with this book that has I believe 24 lessons in it, and so she's on like lesson 21 right now. We've done a couple things differently now that this is my 2nd time through. Not crazy different, but just a little bit. First thing is we're using the letter tile app, which is $20 from All About Spelling. Then I don't have any little tiny pieces to work with, and it's so much faster to do a lesson and just more streamlined because you're not constantly putting the little tiles back and forth. The app just does a really good job of making that efficient, and they add all of the new sounds you're learning as you pick the lesson. Here is what the letter tile app looks like. Don't mind my super duper broken iPad that we have tape spots all over the place. It still works, so I'm holding on, but the letter tile app looks like this, and it's really simple to use. So you can use it for all of the levels. Right now I have it set to level 1, but it could go all the way through level 7. And then lesson, you come over here and pick your lesson. And so as an example, if I was to go to say lesson 3, these are the only tiles that are going to show up because these are the ones that we're using in that lesson. Whereas by the time we get down to say where we are, lesson 21, you can see there's extra sound tiles added in, and the teacher's guide tells you exactly what to do with those tiles. You can just follow it straight through. And you are also welcome to skip parts that your child is just really fast with, So we had to go through with my daughter and teach her how to do segmenting of the words. And so that's where she's separating every single sound out. And that has really helped her to listen for each sound that she may have to spell. For her, learning to segment those words, I think, was probably the most helpful part of this level 1 for her, because she can take a word now and she can separate all the different sounds that she knows how to spell. And then now we're starting to get into some of those strange rules towards the end. And so with that, All About Spelling has this letter box. And what I did, having an older child, is I kept all of his level 1 cards. And so I bought my daughter a new box. My son has a separate box for the level he's in, and she's using a new box with his old cards in it. So just a little word for the wise, don't do what I did and just kind of like scramble all the cards, because when you have a new student come along, you're gonna have to go back through in order. And so if you can try your best to keep your cards in order of which lesson they are, it'll make it so much easier. They call them steps, by the way, not lessons. So All About Spelling will have step 1, step 2, step 3, and that's how they organize these cards here. So each of the lessons, the kiddos are getting about 10 new words to spell. And honestly, by 4th grade, some of these are so easy, your child might just fly through it. And so for my daughter, what I found, because some of these just are so dang easy for her already, I have been working through the sound rules with her. And then also on top of that, we've been segmenting those on the letter tile app, and then I will have her go directly into her notebook and write down those 10 words. And if they are easy peasy for her and she's not stumbling at all, pretty much 100%, you know, getting them right, then I will not do any of the reinforcement words. Every single lesson has an option for some more spelling words. If they're struggling, you can give them some more words to work on. We almost always skip the reinforcement words and go straight to just writing the words on her notebook. And then we go into dictating phrases. Okay, so just as an example, here's step 19 or lesson 19, sound of k at the end of a word. And so she's learning the rule for how to tell if it's a K or if it's gonna be a CK at the end. And she's memorizing that rule, and then we get to the point where she's practicing words where she has to use that rule. And so if she gets these right, like 100%-ish, then we will just move on and skip any of the reinforcement words. You can see here more words with that same pattern. We almost always have skipped that for level 1, maybe in like higher up levels that we'll need to do that, but for now this has just been so easy for her, we skip that part, and I go straight into dictating the phrases. And so she can do all of this in one sitting. With a younger child, I don't think you could do it all in one sitting, but she is able to spell this because they look right and sound right to her, and she's picking up on the rules very quickly. I have a notebook for her for all of the things we're doing with writing this year, including copy work, All About Spelling. We do written narrations for our readings. She's starting 1 a week on there. So we're starting to have reasons to spell, and that's all in here. But for All About Spelling, she is writing her list of 10 new spelling words using that rule, and she'll write it in a column like this, and then we'll go on to dictate those phrases where she will write those out. Then I just glance over to see if she's spelled them right, or if she's made any mistakes, we'll correct them. But sometimes we'll just do one lesson and stop. Other times she'll be like, Mom, let's do another lesson, that was so fast. And so we will go on to the next one. But she has her words, and then she has her dictating the phrases on the thing here, and then same with more words. But having a notebook handy has been really great, just a place to keep all of our spelling in one spot, and then for me to kind of track the progress of what we've covered when. And then we will probably move on to level 2 around, half the way through the year. And so overall, I'm really pleased with this program. My son's already done level 2. We have the black and white one of that. So she'll start that one next, and she'll use his word cards that I've saved from level 2. So you'll see that I've got those back here. These are just extra ones from his old year, as well as any new sounds and rule cards. So it really does pick up in level 2. I'm happy to do a review once we get her through that one. So my oldest son, who's in 5th grade, is using the new color version of level 3. And it is quite a lot different. There's a little bit more fun added to it, but also if you are not a worksheet person or a busy work person, I'm not sure if you would like it as much. So that's something I kind of like about the simplicity of this old version, is that there is no student workbook and there's no extra pages, there's no cutting and pasting, or those extra fun little booklets that my son is making. I think it would depend on your child and your homeschool style. If you like that stuff, then it might be a good fit for you. And if you find it to be busy work and monotonous or time sucking to cut out things and glue them onto sheets based on the spelling patterns and things like that, then you might not like the new color version. But if you found this video helpful, thank you for giving it a thumbs up, and I hope that you just have a better idea of why it might be helpful to start using this with an older child instead of a younger child. Probably a lot of it is going to be based on your child's reading level and how comfortable they are spelling and writing, and if they have shown an interest in starting to write. All right, that's all I have for you today. Let me know any questions you have in the comments. Check out those extra videos I have on all about spelling in the description, and we'll see you next time.